I am Dr. M. Amuda, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Triple V College for Women, Virudhunagar. I welcome you all for this video session, that is value added course in forensic science conducted by Department of Chemistry, Unit 1, Introduction and Scene of Occurrence with the Physical Evidence. First one, Locard's Exchange Principle. You all should know who was Edmund Locard. He was the father of forensic science. He proposed this exchange principle. Then he was well versed both in medicine as well as law in France. He suggested 12 matching points as a positive fingerprint identification. Locard's exchange principle is an important part of forensic science investigation. It states that any criminal leaves behind a trace when committing a violent crime. For example, criminals will leave some trace of their presence behind and will also take some traces with them. This principle states that every contact leaves a trace. With contact between two items, there will be an exchange. They may be has body fluids from their body, fibers from their clothing, carpet fibers away with them, paint and foil from their shoe, fractured articles like knife, glass, etc. First, hairs and fibers. Hairs and fibers may be transferred from the suspect or the suspect's clothes to the victims and vice versa. For example, a suspect may pick up carpet fibers on his shoes or leave hairs behind at a crime scene. Hairs can be examined to identify their origin, human or animal. Hairs with roots intact can be tested for DNA. Fibers are used to make clothing, carpeting, furniture, bed, and blankets. They may be natural fibers from plants or animals or synthetic fibers that are man-made. Next one, wounds. Wounds can often be matched to weapons or tool marks on the weapon. Investigators may also be able to determine the weapon's size, shape, and length. Analysis of a wound may provide clues to a victim's injuries, characteristics of a suspect, that is left-handed, right-handed, height, etc., and positions of the victim and suspect at the time of the incident. In this scene, you can see a victim scene. These scientists collected some exchanges, that means some materials which are considered as exchanging things from the victim or criminal in the crime scene. So Locard proposed his exchange principle to identify the basic reasons for the crimes by using these evidences. Next one, body fluid. Blood, semen, saliva, sweat, and urine can be analyzed to give investigators information about the crime as well as its victim or the suspect. Chemicals and ultraviolet light can be used at a crime scene to find body fluid evidence. Shoe prints and tire tracks. Dust, sand evidence can reveal where a person has traveled and may be picked up at a crime scene or left behind. Investigators will examine the evidence to identify the brand of shoe or tire based on its tread pattern after being used for a period of time, as well as other features, scratches, nicks, and cuts that can be used to match evidence to specific items. For example, shoe prints can be matched to a suspect based on how the treads on the shoes that are worn down due to that person's walking style. The skeletal remains. Some skeletal parts or parts of the human body may be identified in the crime scene. That is, forensic anthropologists analyze skeletal remains to determine four characteristics of a victim: age, sex, race, and stature. Sex. Sex is determined by examining the pelvis, humerus, and femur. Age and stature were determined by analyzing the development of teeth, bone growth, and the length of specific bones such as femur. Race determined by analyzing the skull for characteristics that are common among people of different races. DNA samples can be collected from bone, teeth, and hair to provide clues to a person's identity. Scientists may also be able to gain clues as to a person's past, recent injuries, or the cause of death based on bone fractures and other signs of trauma. Insects, flies, beetles, and other insects can provide useful clues about a corpse. Forensic entomologists use factors such as weather conditions, the location and condition of the body, and their knowledge of the life cycles of insects to help them estimate the postmortem interval or PMI, the time between death and the discovery of the body. Next one, fracture matches. When an object broken, torn, or cut, two unique edges are formed, which are referred to as fracture lines. These edges can be compared by the naked eye or with microscopes to see if they fit together, which indicates that they may have been part of the same object at one time. Investigators may compare the edges on pieces of tape, glass fragments, paint chips, pieces of a car from an accident, paper bag, etc. to find possible matches. Next one, machine documents. Some documents will be collected from the crime scene. Scientists will analyze document, type of papers used, printing method or handwriting style, and type of ink to find clues to link it to a crime scene or a specific suspect. Watermarks on stationery made as someone wrote on a page in a notebook may provide useful clues. By using the handwriting of the victims or criminals may be identified by these documents. Next one, fingerprints. Investigators also identify unique ridges characteristics in a fingerprint. that can be used to identify a suspect or victim. Each person has their own fingerprint. So, by using these fingerprints, we can identify the database used by investigators at local, state, and national levels to search for matches to fingerprints found at a crime scene. These all are the evidences, or otherwise called as exchanging things from the victim or criminal in the crime scene. According to Locard, we can find out the crime or the reason for the crime by identifying these tools. Thank you. We will see in the next video.